cakes. I've been making chocolate, strawberry, a pineapple, and all that. But I was like, let's come on here and make a vanilla cake because later on, I'm going to show you that I'm going to be decorating my double chocolate ooey gooey cakes. But for now, we're going to make a vanilla cake. So I was like, let's get on here and show you. So first things first, I'm going to go down the ingredients that we need. Y'all know if you already have this stuff at home or you've been baking, you already know how to do it. So it's not a big deal. Let's just get into it. You're going to need some flour. You're going to need 2 cups and a fourth of flour. You're going to need some salt. About 2 pinches of salt, and you're going to need some baking powder. You're going to need 2 and a fourth teaspoons of baking powder, and you want to make sure you sift all this. So I have my sifter, and I've been talking about the sifter that I got the sifter right here, and all we're going to do is just sift all this stuff together so that it works perfectly and we have no lumps in our cakes. Okay, so let's go ahead and just sift this flour in here so you don't have any lumps. And this is what happens when you sift the flour in, okay? And you just want to mix in your baking powder as well. So your baking powder is your leaven agent. So go ahead and just sift that in there like so. You're going to bake this cake at 350, and you're going to bake it for about maybe 35 minutes to 40 minutes, just depending on your oven. Now this might take a little minute to sift it, but it's not a problem. Go ahead and do it so that your cake doesn't have any lumps. And if you don't have this type of sifter, you can always go ahead and get one of like the hand shaker sifters and sift it as well. But you want to make sure you don't skip this step when you are baking a cake, okay? So let's go ahead and just dump the rest of that in there. Oop. And I'm going to get to working on this. Go a little faster so we get done. And the purpose of doing this is just make sure that your cake doesn't have any lumps in it, okay? We're almost there, y'all. Now, if you haven't looked at my channel or subscribed to it, make sure you go ahead and do that. Because over there, I have been baking a lot of different cakes because it's the holiday. And I'm like, why not bake some cakes? Show people how to bake cakes. And if you know how to bake cakes, kudos to you. That's good. Some people just a visual person. And then we are building a community. So it's not a problem if you go ahead and just go over there and check out some of the cakes. Now, I do have bloopers because what is baking without bloopers? I always have them when I'm baking, so that's just how I bake over here. And we have good fun, and normally times we get on here and we cook around like 7 o'clock-ish or whatever. So you're going to need some sugar. The sugar is right here, and this is what you're going to need. And I have a cup and a half of sugar right here. You're going to need 3 eggs at room temperature. You're going to need a stick of butter, room temperature, and then you're going to need a 4th cup of oil right here. You're going to also need to take out your milk right now if you have time. Go ahead and take that out. And next thing we're going to do is cream all our stuff together. So we're going to get the butter and we're going to stick it in our hand or stand mixer, just depending on what you have, and stick it in here. Now we're just making a plain vanilla cake because I've been making all these flavorful cakes, but everybody does not like chocolate or strawberry or anything like that. And if you don't know how to make a basic cake, I'm going to show you how to make a basic cake today. So not a big deal. Turn this on low and you're going to cream everything together, okay? And then I'm going to add my sugar in here. And I'm going to add my 4th cup of oil. And I'm going to turn this on low and let it cook. Now the butter is to give the cake flavor, and the cream, the sugar is sugar, make it sweet. And then the oil is to give it moisture, okay? So if you don't know, you know now. Turn it on low and let it cream. Let me see what's going on. I'm making a plain vanilla cake. I have made a strawberry cake. I have made a pound cake. I have made a pineapple crunch or crush cake. And we are making chocolate cake later on. And I was like, let me make a vanilla cake because later on when I come back, we're learning how to decorate on my channel. So we're just making cakes. And we're going to take them to church. So I need to make a vanilla cake because everybody doesn't like all that extra type of cakes. They just like a vanilla cake with a nice frosting or icing on it. So why not show you how to make one? So that's what we're doing. So Once this gets to turning and you have creamed it, you need 3 eggs room temperature. You want to go and add one at a time, okay? If you have not been watching me, go ahead and watch me on my channel, because y'all know me and eggs do not get along when it comes to putting it in this mixer. Once one of the yolks are mixed or incorporated in your batter, go ahead and just add another one. Alright, 2 for 2. We got one more to go. And my good old saying is, who eat the most, get the most. So if you put a little yolk in there, you know, who ate the most, that's what they get. A little eggshell won't hurt you. Alright, so we're going to cream that up really, really good. Now, I'm going to show you some extra stuff that I'm going to use to put into my cake. And it's going to taste magnificent, okay? So I like to use the pure vanilla extract. I have the paste and I also use the liquid form. And then today I'm going to put a little bit of the butter flavor in there just to bump up the flavor of the cake. Now you need 1 teaspoon and a half, so we're going to use a full teaspoon of the vanilla and we're going to use a half a teaspoon of the butter, okay? So I'm just going to open it up and sit that on the side. Alright, now once this is all creamed up, you just want to go ahead. And when I say creamed up, let me show you what it should look like before you get to adding your flour, your butter, your flour, and your milk. So this is what it should look like when you creamed it up. Really nice, creamy. So you're going to need a cup of milk. You can use whole milk or you can use buttermilk. So that's what I was saying, like, before you put the butter in there. So you can use whole milk or buttermilk. Put that back on there. And then you want to alternate. So you want to put a little bit of your flour in there, mixture, because we have mixed this with baking powder. And we put our salt in there. And then also you want to put a little bit of your milk in here. So make sure at this point you just want to stir it up on low. You don't want it on high. And again, we're going to add our flavors in there midway. And if you're just tuning in, we are making a vanilla cake. That is what we're making, because later on when you come back and check me out, that's what we're going to be decorating these cakes. And they're going to be delicious. I'm going to get my cup of milk together. Go and sit down on the side right there. I'm going to add a little bit more flour in here. I'm going to add half of this milk in there. And I'm going to put a couple of splashes of, or a half a teaspoon of the butter extract. And then I'm going to put 1 teaspoon of the vanilla. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this flour in there. I'm going to cut it off right quick. And make sure you always scrape the side of your bowl so you can get all of your ingredients incorporated into your batter, okay? And then on top of that, I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of this milk in there. Just pour it in there. Voila! And turn this back on low. Now, if you're just tuning in, like I keep saying, we are making a plain vanilla cake. And later on today, around like 6 or 7 o'clock, I'm actually going to be showing you how my chocolate cake came out and decorating it. Because, you know, over here we're learning, and that is what we're planning on doing, is decorating a little bit better because I'm not a decorator. I'm a baker. I like to bake for flavor. I do not decorate and cook for looks, okay? Let me see what you're talking about. Buongiorno. Oh, Italy. Do you have a family? Oh, yeah. Everybody has a family. You got friends that can be your family. Your co-workers can be your family. Everybody have a family. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, so we're getting to it. Now I'm about to show you what it looks like. Now I'm gonna make a double decker cake. I always call them a double decker cake because guess what? We're gonna make 2 layers. So these are spring pans, and they call that because you just pop them open, boom, and then it falls. I have a lining in there, a parchment paper. I sprayed it with a little butter pen, just a little bit, and I have 2 of them. You can get them in an 8-inch or the 9-inch. This is a 9-inch. You want to do the best you can by separating these and make sure they're evenly into your batter. Now I'm going to cut this off. We're going to give it one more scrape on the side. Y'all, this smells so freaking good. Okay? So freaking good. Okay, and the last thing I like to do with my cake batter, we're going to give it 1 or 2 more spins. But the last thing I like to do with my cake batter is I like to add a little bit of Jello pudding in here. That is going to make it real nice, and I mean it's just gonna give it a little more and flavor if I can find the pack. So if you want to, you can add the Jello pack in there, or you can just leave it alone. And I'm like, hey, who's talking? Okay, or you can just leave it alone and you can just keep it just like it is. But I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. So if you want to add a little oomph to your cake batter, you can add your Jello pack in there. And that's a lot of things people are doing now, adding Jello pack. But that's like an old school thing you can do. Or you can add a little bit of extra ingredients, okay? So, I don't want to make a mess because y'all know I'm good for making messes while I'm cooking. So this is what your batter should look like once it's been mixed up. All you're going to do is go ahead and separate it. I have a spatula. I need to get the rest of this off of here. And then we're going to go ahead and pour it in our baking pans. Once you put it in your baking pan, preheat your oven at 350. You're going to cook it for 35 to 40 minutes. Just keep an eye on them. And later on today around 7 o'clock, tune in with me because I'm going to show you how we're going to decorate. We're going to make frosting. I'm also going to show you how to make a simple syrup to make sure your cake is not dry. So if you normally have a dry cake, when you cut it, you're like, why is my cake always dry? I'm going to show you how to make a simple syrup. We're going to do a frosting that's guaranteed going to hold the time, the width of time, the standard time, how y'all say, I don't know. But we're going to do that too. And also we're going to do our best in decorating. So I'll catch y'all at 7 tonight. Do not forget, tune in, and I'll see you at the end, okay? So we got 2 cakes we're going to decorate. We're going to have a double chocolate cake and a double vanilla cake. Ooh, that sounds so good. I'll catch y'all later. Thanks for watching.